Lock Gordon Grundy. I've said this from the start of the season. However, now Max Gorn's injured for multiple rounds maybe, I think we just have to trade him. In this video, I'll first be telling you 3 reasons why we must trade him, and then I'll be telling you some players that we can potentially trade in for him. Just before we get into the video though, I'd just like to say that I didn't actually come up with the idea to trade Gawn. Supercoach George actually did in his latest video 2 tips to skyrocket up the ranks. So thanks to him, please subscribe to his YouTube channel. And yeah, let's get on with the video. So what are the reasons for trading him out? Just before I say these 3 reasons, I'd just like to say you got to keep in mind that I'm only going to trade him out if he doesn't play the next game. If he's listed for playing the next game, I'll definitely keep him. So anyway, on to the reasons that I'm going to trade him out. So number 1, you really don't want someone this expensive, 721,000, missing too many games on your bench, because I just think that's a huge waste of money that you could really be using elsewhere. Which brings me on to my second point. There's so many good players to trade in that we just need the cash generation at the moment. And as I said, 721, that is so much. You can get so much done. There are so many good players at the moment. Say, for example, Fife is coming down in value. You want to have enough cash to get him. And I just think cash generation is really difficult this year, especially with the limited rounds. So yeah, you just really need that cash. And onto the third reason, I really don't think, even if he comes back, I think we can miss him for a few rounds. As this one's a bit controversial, but he hasn't had huge form over the last few weeks, with 87, 107 being his last few scores, and his break-even is 240, so we might even be able to pick him up cheaper at, say, 700,000 after missing him for a few rounds. So finally, the question that we all want the answer to: who should we trade in for Gawn? This is a really important question because we have so many great options with the amount of cash that we can get from Gawn. And by the way, before we go to the next slide, whoever drew that picture on the side is really good at drawing. So before we get into the specific players that we need to trade in, what I think we should do is do a basic outline of the trade. So these are basically the types of players that we want to trade out and in. So we want to trade out Gawn and a rookie who has reached their maximum price. So that should be somewhere between 300k and 350k. But it really depends on their scoring capabilities and their break-even. So then we want to trade in, firstly, a premium ruck, maybe not a Grundy or a Goldstein, but someone a bit cheaper, and then a premium mid, which we want the top of the top, the real best mids that really cost a lot of money, because with all of this cash that we're getting from Gawn, it's worth spending. So first we'll be talking about a few options for premium mids. Obviously there are other good options, but these are, I suppose, the best and most interesting ones that I picked out. So I'm going to go through all of these players and do pros and cons for each. So Canelio. Pros: he's already had a bye and he does have a pretty easy fixture coming up. Cons: he doesn't have great scoring ability and consistency. 5. His pros: he's at a discounted price, he has excellent scoring ability, and he's already had his bye. Cons: his durability. Now, his durability isn't that bad, but I didn't really have many cons. So, Jack Steele. His pros are his consistency, and he seems to be the main man in the Saints midfield. His cons are that he still has the bye to come. So, Josh Kelly. Pros: as we saw, I think he scored over 200 one week. He has a huge ceiling, but he does have a few cons, which are his consistency and his durability. So out of all of these picks, I'm probably leaning most towards 5. So the premium ruck options. So the first one is a pretty natural choice for a lot of people. It's Nick Nat. So his pros are that he's consistent, he has a high ceiling, and a high scoring ability. His cons are his durability is not too great, but I don't think it's much of a concern. I think he is definitely a great option and probably the best option for a lot of people. But this next option, Peter Ladhams, I think I'm going to pick. So his pros are consistency, scoring ability, a high ceiling, basically like Nick Nat, but he is about 100k cheaper. The only con I can find for Ladhams is that his career has been a very small sample size. He's only played 5 games this year, and 10 games in his career. Other than that, I just think he is a really good pick to save money, and he's just been really consistent. I think his median score is 114 so far this year, and yeah, he's just been great. Next is Oscar McInerney. So his pros are that he's got a really high ceiling, and he can reach those high scores pretty often as well. His cons are his consistency, but I think he's going to have a pretty low break even, so he might not be too bad of an option. And the last option is Sam Jacobs. A lot of people are suggesting this, but I just don't think he's as good anymore. His only real pro is his experience. Other than that, I think he's inconsistent and pretty injury prone. So, in conclusion, I'd definitely be going for Ladhams and Coniglio to trade in for Gawn, and my rookie would probably depend on a lot of things, but say probably Pickett or Sam Simpson. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and please comment down below if you'd want another player who you think is really good option, and I can tell you if that's a good idea or probably stay away from that player, or you want some more stats on certain players that I have covered, or basically anything, just comment down below and I'll be really happy to reply. As a lot of you probably know, I reply to every comment, so yeah, obviously like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.